Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beyond Life Paranormal Research Podcast. I'm your host, Russell Reynolds, and we got a good show tonight. I've got the Ghost Sisters with me tonight on the show. Well, two of them, anyways. Without further ado, we'll bring them on. Mandy and Chasity of Ghost Sisters. Hello, welcome to the show, guys.
Hello, thank you for having us.
Oh, you're very welcome. So, tell my audience a little bit about yourselves and how Ghost Sisters got started.
That was me. So, it was back in October of 2017. I had reached out to my sister because I actually got a ticket to go to the Mansfield Prison Reformatory, and I didn't want to go alone. And I was like, I contacted my sister. I'm like, you're going with me. Get your ticket. I'm not going to this location alone. So she did. And I ended up ordering some equipment. And I wasn't a paranormal investigator at the time. So, I just got an SB7 and a EMF detector. And we had a flashlight. And my sergeant at the time, because I worked in law enforcement, had let me borrow his GoPro. So we went. We had a blast investigating. We captured an apparition down in Solitary. You could see a guard walking on the GoPro right in the beginning while the lights was on. And we were the only ones down there. And which that landed us on Ghost Brothers on their, what was it? Ghost Brothers Lights Out season 2, I believe. The Shank, episode 1. And so I didn't know at the time that I was going to start a team. I just know that I enjoyed it because I've had experiences my whole life dealing with spirits and stuff since I was really young. And I was always drawn to the paranormal because I've always been having something crazy with spirits around me all the time. So I was always drawn to it. So that's why I wanted to go to that location. And then we captured an apparition. And after that, I just said, you know what? I'm going to start a team. And I called up my sister and I said, you're joining me. So, and it just went from there.
Awesome. So what are some of the craziest locations you guys have done over the years?
Geez, where do I begin? Well, we've been to Tennessee a lot because we do have one of our locations that we go there that is called the Ura Shrine. And that is a very good location. It's very active. It's got a little bit of everything. It's not one of your typical locations that is a abandoned place that, most of us paranormal investigators go to. This is a place that is happening now. Like there is always something going on there, rituals every day. So, and it has a history before it even became a Ura Shrine. So this place is really active. That's just one of the locations, though.
Nice. That location you guys were at last night, if anybody watched the live where you were at, what kind of evidence did you guys get from that?
Besides the bats, well, I actually just uploaded a reel because we captured a female voice saying, I can't breathe. And this was like right as soon as I thought, I heard a disembodied voice from a distance and it sounded like a man. and I was feeling like my heart was racing. And as soon as I'm like, the heart's racing and I can't hardly breathe, you hear this woman right after I said that. She whispers, "I can't breathe." So that was really interesting. Hi, Jenny.
Katie
But
Staff also says hello also.
hey, Katie.
Awesome. Have you guys done Waverly Hills Sanatorium at all yet?
Chasity, we have. Don't you remember?
We've been to so many, I can't remember all of them.
Yeah, Chasity and I went to Waverly Hills. We ended up joining. There was probably, I want to say there was probably about 10 other people, maybe 12, because we were invited there to join other teams.
Mhm.
Because these big locations, they cost so much. You almost have to join other people to get into those locations. Right. And Chasity and I got a ticket, and we ended up going. And we just kind of ventured off, and we did our own little thing. So it was pretty good.
Any good experiences you guys had from Waverly?
Oh, man, that was a long time ago. Well, I don't think
Hi, everybody.
I don't think we captured any EVPs that night. We had a lot of our equipment was going off. No, I don't remember that we captured really anything.
I know we've done it. We had some pretty good evidence. We found that if you go like beginning of June, it's pretty active, especially when thunderstorms kick up.
Mm-hmm.
Like the night we were there, we had a thunderstorm kick up. We actually seen the creeper crawling across the floor.
Oh, no. Well, we went on the 4th of July. So we walked out on the balcony and there were fireworks going off. And yeah, it was like.
Yeah, that's hard to investigate with all that going on.
I figured that might have kicked up the activity a little bit out, but it was a good night though. We had a lot of fun, but a lot of the places, the good spots were taken, from other people. So, but we did pretty good. We got around the place pretty good.
We had a question for you. How do you guys find new locations that allow you to investigate?
We either get invited to these locations to come and check out their business or residential case, or we hear about them online, or and look up the price and decide whether we're going to go or not.
A lot of people refer us places too.
Nice. You guys do a lot of residential?
We have in the past. I had to kind of cut back on the ones that we were going to do because we get so many people just wanting us to come and check out that the fact that they just got your typical spirit in the house, just making a little bit of noises, And I was like, we can't do this. This is just not going to work out, because if we did that, we'd be busy every day almost. So right. I'm like, look, if it's not something that's an emergency, or you're terrified to be in your home, or you can show me proof of what's going on, then I'm sorry. And you have to own your location, because we definitely cannot go check something out that somebody doesn't own and we don't have permission. So just kind of, and I think doing that, people, I try to help them and tell them, give them some advice what to do. Leave it alone. If it isn't bothering you, why you know what I mean? If it's there, just, if you want to acknowledge it. But if it's not hurting you, leave it alone. So we just kind of cut back on a lot of the residentials unless it's emergency.
Right. Yeah, I know that feeling. We do a lot of residential cases, and we get called constantly, and a lot of it we find is either psychological or they're battling addictions.
Yeah.
So residential cases are hard to do.
I think it's easier to get something attached to you too.
Yeah, I agree on that. I mean, we'll get called for demonic calls too, because we're one of the teams that'll handle stuff like that. But us in Raven's Eye. But and a lot of times you go in there and it's not all demonic. They're either something they've conjured up in their heads, or they just aggravated something because you're trespassing in their domain.
A
Or
lot of times
family. Or his
it's
family
family.
trying to protect them.
Yeah.
But yeah, we primarily do a lot of residential. We've done some of the bigger places. One place you need to come check out is Missouri State.
Yes, because where I worked in law enforcement, I love going to the jails, the courthouses, the prisons, and I have a vest that I wear when I go to those locations. I love it.
Yeah, you
Some
guys, you would enjoy it. Missouri's one of the haunted places Missouri State is in the state of Missouri. We've done it twice, and it's never let us down. The only place that did for us was the women's part, because you won't get no activity up there if you got men with you up there. If women go up there, it's active.
Is it a prison?
Yep, Missouri State Penitentiary. It's one of the bloodiest 47 acres of Missouri. You've had inmates die in there of stabbings, guards been killed. But the guards back then were only allowed to carry a nightstick and handcuffs. That was it. They weren't allowed to be armed.
I've been to three prisons. I've been to the Mansfield Reformatory, I think 6 times. I've been to Brushy Mountain Prison, Juliet Prison, which was really good, but at that time they were only allowing 4 hours to investigate. But oh my gosh, it costed a lot, but it was so worth it because we got all kinds of crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love going to prisons.
What are your all's best piece of equipment to use?
I love my ink box. I love the OG ink box. I'm missing my ink box right now because I've had it for almost 7 years. So I hopefully I get it back soon, because I had to send it because something on the back kind of broke off. So that was probably something that must have hit or something. I don't know. But my ink box, I love my intercom box made by Jay Prather also. And I like the simple little cat balls, because yes, some people question the cat balls, but I mean, I just love them because you have to go over there and, tap on the ball, or it does
Right.
pick up on vibrations, but I really like those because, what's lighting up that ball? Is it a malfunction in the ball, or is it spirit,
Mm-hmm. Have you guys tried the tripwire yet?
I do have, what's it called? I forget what it's called. I just got Jenny's Paranormal Investigations. She actually just gave me a new device made by Eric Moore. It's an approximate meter, something like that. So that I don't have the tripwire one you're talking about that you place in the door. I would love to have one of those.
They're pretty legit. We used one at our event last weekend, and we had it stretched across the hallway where the man said to walk back and forth. And as they were doing the history on him being shot, the tripwire, nobody was up there. The tripwire was just going crazy up there. We were watching it on camera.
Mm-hmm. Well, Chasity and we've been on investigations with other team members, and that had, they were using those, and we forgot where they were located, and those things will scare the heck out of you.
Oh, I bet.
When you don't know, when you forget where they are and you cross the path, it's like,
Right. That's like me. I'll use most of my equipment is like I'll just use the Mel meter I've got the Mel meter with the REM pod, and then my digital recorder. That's most of the stuff I usually walk around with.
Well, I love my recorder. I got a really good recorder. It's a Sony. It's a really old one. It's really sensitive, and it does capture really good EVPs.
I've got the Olympus one that's got the little speakers up on top, the little microphones on top, and that
Yeah,
you can hear a pin drop with that. Somebody can be on the third floor, and you can be in the basement and pick them up with it.
I've heard about those. And I think I was around somebody out in the field one time that had that device.
Yeah, it's a pretty good piece of equipment. Runs on the SD card. It's got a lot of storage to it,
Hmm.
and we captured good EVPs on those. I got a little RCA one about that big that I started with when I first started doing this, and we still use it to this day. I mean, it picks up good EVPs off of that as well.
I've got two of them. I have I think it's an Olympic. It's just a little cheap one, but I
Mm,
mean, it works good. It's not as sensitive as my Sony here, like little Sony here.
okay, yep.
Now these are going. When I got mine, they were not that expensive, and now these babies here are the price on them's going up. I think the people start realizing that how good they are out in the field, and people that are not paranormal investigators,
Right.
because it's like all of a sudden everything's just going up on those. So got to get them while you can, because who knows? Next thing you know, the price will be. I don't even want to think about what the price will be.
Well, that's like the DR60s as well too.
Yes.
The prices are crazy on those too.
Yep.
And then we do a lot of stuff outside the box too with a lot of stuff like when we do prisons, we'll bring in contraband and stuff like that. We found it's pretty
Mm.
useful bringing playing cards with you, maybe like an
Yeah.
old flask.
You see, I worked in a jail for 8 years, so I dealt with men and women. And so I like to, when I go to those locations, I'll wear my vest, and I have a nightstick too, so that just I consider myself the trigger object, because I'll tell them that I'm a former corrections officer, and and I'll start talking to them like I would have when I worked, in the jail. So yeah, get them all wired up. They just and it works. It really does.
Yeah, it seems to spark up like when we did Missouri State. Julie from Raven's Eye, she used to be a nurse in the prisons and stuff like that. So she'd walk around saying nurses in the house, and it would kick up some stuff for us.
Hmm.
Do you guys do cleansings as well on people and houses? And
Yeah, we have, haven't we, Chastity? We've went in after an investigation. We'll ask, we'll say, we'll offer to sage the whole place, but we'll tell them this is probably going to, make them upset. There's no guarantee. We'll let them know they have to continue it. Us doing it one time doesn't mean, oh, this is going to solve your problem. But some of them, they don't understand how to do it. So we'll offer it. And if they want us to, then we'll have them follow us, and we'll show them how we do it. And then what they do from there on is, it's on them.
right,
Because
yeah,
we don't guarantee that. I don't guarantee, we don't guarantee that we can remove anything, because there's just no guarantee.
yeah. There's not. We find some homeowners that try to do it themselves before they even call us in, and then all of a sudden they just anger it even more, and it goes into hiding for a while, and then it comes back out after them again.
Mhm. We also find out that it just seems to sometimes make the spirits mad when we go do these residentials, because they always tell us to leave. They
Yep.
don't want us there, and it can make it worse for them.
Well, I think they know too when that client's making contact with you. They know when they're calling for help,
Mhm.
and they know what you're coming there for. Like
Mhm.
us, we won't tell our clients when we're coming. We
Mhm.
just show up so we surprise it. So that way it's not off hiding somewhere where we have to kind of really search around and see where it's hiding at.
Mhm.
That seems to work out pretty well for us.
I just went to Zach Bagan's museum last week.
Oh, did you? How was that?
It was pretty cool. I got to go to the basement. I got the VIP. Saw the
Pretty-
basement. It told us to get out.
Is it pretty pricey to go to that?
For me and my husband, a VIP ticket was about $200.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Wait a minute, it might have been a little more. $286.
Does he have his Divic box on display in there too?
I think it was $286, something like that. Yeah, he had all of his boxes playing. We got to see Peggy. I don't know if you heard of Peggy.
Yep.
Yeah, he had the Peggy doll, and we had to tell her hi and then bye, I guess. I had a human head. Had a human head in there.
Oh wow! I wonder where he got that from.
It was a human head, I swear to you, in a box.
What?
Somebody did a ritual on the man, and they asked him to put it. They did a witchcraft on him, on the guy, and somebody kept having issues with him or something. I can't remember the whole story. I have to ask my husband. But so they asked Zach to take him, and he put him in a box, and it's a human head. I'm not kidding you. It's a human head in a box.
Oh wow! That sounds like something the Warrens museum's got. They got that demonic skull that was used in demonic rituals, and it's a human skull.
He had human skulls there too. He had human heads there, human head skulls there too. It's crazy. I asked him, I said, how come you don't have Annabelle? The lady said that they used to have Annabelle there or something, and he had to give her back because people were taunting her.
That's actually not true. Annabelle's never left the Warrens Occult Museum.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's what that lady told me. So I thought that's a little weird.
Tony Sparrows.
Unless she's probably somebody else. Unless she's thinking somebody else. I don't know. Because I asked her, I said, where is Annabelle ain't here? Because I thought she was here last time we was there. Because I've been there just the second time. Right. I thought she's something like her anyway. And they said they kept taunting her.
Yeah, she's never left the Warrens Occult Museum. She only goes to like the local paracons that the Warrens Nesper does, but that's it. She stays mainly in that museum there.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. If you ain't never been there, I told Mandy, they show people passing out, going through there, and from the energy. I told Mandy she wouldn't make it through there.
Oh, I can imagine. I mean, when the Nesper had some of the Warrens Occult Museum there at Missouri State, several people that were coming in contact with that, we've had to do cleansings on them because they overwhelmed. There was one girl that has what they call POTS disease, and she turned white. She was going into shock when they brought her back to the lobby, and my dad did a cleansing on her, and she was fine for the rest of the night. But she came in contact with the fire doll and the shadow doll they had there, and those two evil things not to mess with.
The fire doll?
Yep. The fire doll actually burned up a house with a bunch of little kids in it.
Oh yeah,
I had no fire doll, but man, he had so much stuff there.
Yeah, she's the only thing in that house that didn't burn that night. The whole house burnt to the ground.
Do you remember a fire doll when we was at Zach Vegan's?
A fire doll?
Yeah, a fire doll. I don't remember a fire doll.
She's in the Warrens Occult Museum, the fire doll is.
Oh, that's why we didn't see him. But what happened to that person that they had the guy's head? They did a witchcraft on him.
Someone who did some kind of witchcraft and burned his body.
They did a witchcraft on him and burned his body, but they saved his head.
He was into witchcraft, I think.
And they saved his head.
Okay.
I'm on a podcast with
But that shadow doll they got, that's made out of human bone. It's got one human tooth in its mouth.
The
You went
Warrens,
there,
though.
no
At the
horns.
Warrens?
It's at the Warrens Museum. Yep.
I didn't know they had a museum. I asked them, and they said that they won't sell nothing or something. Do they have a Warrens museum you can go to too?
They actually shut it down. So what they're actually doing now is zoning issues.
I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
Since they had zoning issues, so what they did was they're bringing the Warrens Occult Museum out to the public, so you can actually see the artifacts and they'll have them in Gettysburg this year at the Warren Seekers of the Supernatural Paracon. They're going to have about 70 of them there and the real Annabelle doll.
Mm.
Yeah, they said her son-in-law owns it now or something.
Yeah, Tony Spear, he took everything over.
And he won't sell nothing. I guess Zach tried to buy them, and he won't get rid of them.
And then if you go to Connecticut, you can go to John Zaffis's museum. He's got a haunted museum as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
John Zaffis.
The Haunted Collector.
Hmm.
Chasity.
Only one I know of is those two, Warren and Zach Biggins.
John Zaffis is actually the old TV show, The Haunted Collector, that was on TV for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen it.
I'll be probably running into him tomorrow because I think he's going to be at the Gettysburg.
Yep, he's there.
I'll be there tomorrow.
If you see him, tell him his cousin Russell said hi, because I'm actually related to John Zaffis and Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Oh, cool.
You're related to Warren and them, the people that did The Exorcist and all that?
No, I didn't get to meet Ed and Lorraine. They passed away before I found out I was related to them. But I did meet John Zaffis. I'm going to meet Tony in September.
So how much of the Conjuring and all that was true? Now Zach Biggins showed they didn't do Emily Rose. They didn't do Emily Rose. Yeah, they did do Emily Rose, didn't they? Or no,
Yeah,
they didn't.
no, they didn't do Emily Rose. They did. It was the one in England. They helped
Conjuring
out.
1 and 2 and 3.
The third one they did Arnie Johnson. The Warrens did that one. The first Conjuring, some of that movie is made up for Hollywood.
That's what I was wondering, because some of that just didn't seem.
How the original story is, Keith and Carl Johnson were the original investigators before Ed and Lorraine actually went into the house. They went out there to check it out and investigate, and they called Ed and Lorraine in. Well, Ed and Lorraine were doing a seance in the dining room when everything went haywire and the mom got possessed. So Ed and Lorraine were asked to leave and never come back. And that's
But did they come back and they cured her or something?
No, they never did an exorcism or cleansing on that house or anything like that.
So how did the girl get cured? She's still possessed? Or I'm confused.
No, she snapped out of it. It released her. It just sent her flying backwards. It was like a partial possession.
So all that whole movie, none of that was true?
Some of it was, and some of it was fake. I mean, with the Warrens coming in, investigating, that was true. Everything like that. But like Bathsheba Sherman, there's no record on her actual being a witch or being on that property. Lorraine did pick up on her that she was a witch, and she frequently that property. There is a picture of her on that property, but there's no record stating that she killed that little kid and sacrificed them and all of that. She kind of got the bad name for it from the movies. But that's how Hollywood
Zach
does
had the voice of the haunted Rosemary. He had the voice of her being haunted and talking.
Oh, wow. And I know they've got over hundreds of artifacts in that museum. The Devil's Sword. They've got these Halloween masks that were used for rituals. And they've got the Annabelle Comes Home movie doll also in the museum.
It's scary. They make you sign a waiver before you even go in there. They won't let you take any pictures, nothing. You can't take any pictures or go live or nothing in there.
Oh wow.
He has Ted Bundy's remains, Ted Bundy's stuff. He has what was the other killer? All the killers. What was all those killers' name? Ted Bundy, and who was the other guy that chopped off heads and stuff? I can't remember his name. Dark haired guy. Oh my God, Jefferson. Is it Jefferson?
I think Zach was trying to get a hold of some of the Ed Gein stuff also.
Mm.
Well, he paid millions of dollars for this car part, for this haunted car. Did you hear that part?
Yeah, I did hear about that.
And the demon house he had.
Yep.
Did you hear about the demon house?
Demon
I guess
House
he
in
won't even
Iowa.
go in there alone.
It's actually, he had it torn down.
Yeah, he had it torn down and he saved the steps and he saved a couple things. And he had it in a room. And I'll tell you, I felt heavy in that room. It felt really lightheaded in that room.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I've always wanted to go check out that house, but he had it torn down before anybody could really talk to him about it to go in there and check it out.
Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer, that's who I was thinking of.
Okay, Jeffrey Dahmer. Yep.
Yeah, he had his skeletons and stuff in there, some of his remains. It was gross.
I'll definitely have to make a trip out there and check that out.
Oh, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. It's got a lot of stuff. We got the VIP where we got to go in the basement and a couple other rooms. I didn't like the part where I had to crawl through a hole to get one of those rooms. I'm claustrophobic, or however you say that damn word. I didn't like that. I didn't like it.
Well, that's like us when we do residential. We'll investigate an attic too. Especially doing a cleansing, we'll cleanse the attic because that's where it can go and hide and stay in there until everything clears out.
We've done that, but see, I only stuck my head up inside the attic and just saged. I was not going up there where the bats are. No.
But that would be cool if Warren had their own museum. I would love to check that out.
They do, but you have to have a special invite by Tony, being it's not open to the public anymore. But if you follow Nesper, they do shows where they'll bring the artifacts across country. Like they had them out here in Missouri at the prison. But they won't bring Annabelle out. They don't bring the only dangerous ones they brought out was the fire doll and the shadow doll are the most. They also showed what possessed the little boy in The Conjuring 3. They had that there too.
Yeah, he did have he did show some stuff on that. The little boy. He showed something about a little boy getting possessed. Oh yeah, because he had the nuns thing there, the skeleton, the nun.
Okay.
And he had the rocking chair. Yeah, he had the rocking chair there, and he had pictures of the little boy that was possessed and stuff.
Oh, neat.
He bought the all rocking chair somewhere off of them.
When they brought the artifacts out here, they had the actual chair that the real Annabelle doll sat in when Ed and Lorraine brought her home. So they have the movie doll sitting in her. So I took a selfie with the movie Annabelle doll, and you see this arm coming out. You see its fist closed. When I snapped the second picture, you see the hand open right behind me.
Mm-hmm.
That's wicked.
So
yeah, I don't know why you don't let us take pictures, man. It's hard to tell what we would have caught if we was able to take pictures in there. That would have been cool if we had caught some stuff.
Right, yeah.
It's huge.
A lot of energy off of that stuff. They let us take pictures of the artifacts from the Warren's Cult Museum. Wait till let's take all the pictures you want. So Julie took a picture of the shadow doll, and inside the case, she captured a face, and it looked like it had goat horns
Mm.
right next to the shadow doll.
Yeah, they made us turn our phones off, which I didn't. They told everybody to turn their phones off, but I did. But they have cameras in there where they watch everything. They see everything that goes on through there. The hallways when people are going through, because they take you in room and by room. And the lady that got possessed, with and recorded her getting possessed, killed, pictures. Yeah, all kinds of stuff, man. If you haven't been there, you got to go check it out. That was our second time there. And they said he changes it up every year, so it was a little different. Some of the stuff was the same from when we was there last time, but yeah, a lot of different stuff.
Right.
Robin Williams and stuff, Michael Jackson's chair there, and Patrick Swayze.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know why they're not dead. They're not. I don't know why he had them there.
Probably to say he's got someone famous. Some of the possessions of someone famous in there. Well, I know he had just bought a exorcism book and some stuff that was used for exorcisms off of Booth Brothers not too long ago. There was a whole book that I guess it was used on the exorcism down here in St. Louis that was based off the movie The Exorcist.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was fun. I wasn't too thrilled with the basement though. I mean, it was small. They take you through a little tunnel, and then you go into this little room, and he has like that box on. Oh, I can't think today. And the thing said, "Get out." We did hear that, but it really wasn't like I thought it was going to be.
Right. Does he actually come there with me? You guys are
They
there?
said he was out of town. But they said he comes in and out, but he's hardly ever there. I tried to get Mandy he got 2 free shirts with our packet. I told Mandy she can have my husband. She goes, I don't want it. He said he ain't gonna wear it. She said, I'm fine. So I'll wear it around the house.
Not a Zach fan, are you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. I definitely am.
She just didn't want a shirt. She just wanted to make sure I wore my Ghost Sisters shirt there. So I had to take plenty of pictures to show Ghost Sisters was that Zach Bagans thing.
Yeah.
Bugged me all day. I just got there. I just got on the plane. Where's my picture at? I just got here. Give me time. Dang.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it'd be worth checking his museum out. I've actually got an artifact sitting in John Zaffis' museum I took out of a house. It's an old ritual mask, and I gave it to him at Metacon when he was out here in Missouri. So that's in his museum in Connecticut.
You'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, a lady found it between her wall and her safe, and it was causing a bunch of problems in the house. She was laying down in her bed, and she woke up to something right in her face trying to enter her mouth. And her granddaughter had been taking a nap and thought she seen Grandma going out the front door while Grandma was still laying in bed.
It's creepy.
Oh, he had the bunny guy, the sex bunny guy bed there. Where it's possessed.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about that story where what his name's Bunny, the sex guy? What's his name? I'm horrible with names.
Yeah, so am I.
But you know who I'm talking about? The guy that owns the bunny?
Yeah, I do know who you're talking
The bunny,
about.
the horse. What do you call the damn people? He had his bed there to get where he died. The bed that guy died in, and then I guess he was possessed. Oh, he had a picture of a demon looking in the background of that bed. You can see a demon right behind that guy right behind that bed in a closet or something. He was peeking out, or in a hallway or something. You can see a picture of the demon where that bed was possessed. It was quite crazy. It was crazy.
Oh, I bet. I know we captured a picture of Robert Berdella. He's known as Kansas City Butcher out here in Missouri. He was known for kidnapping women, torturing them, and then killing them. Well, one woman managed to escape, and they found her running down the road naked. Well, they caught up to him, locked him up in Missouri State, and he died there of heart failure because he claimed the guards weren't giving him his heart medicine. So we were up in the prison museum, which is the old warden's house, and we captured a picture up there in the old warden's house, and he had some contraband, some shanks that he made while he was in prison or in the museum there.
Dang. Yeah, Zach also had a van there where a guy used to help people commit suicide in the van. I can't remember his name. It was an older guy. He would commit suicide, I guess 200 people. And they tried to destroy the van, and the van would not destroy. It's a little white van. I can't remember the guy's name. But he would help people commit suicide and kill them.
Okay.
I can't remember his name.
Dr.
Yeah, that sounds about right, Tracy. That sounds about right. Yeah. They had his van there, and they said they tried to demolish it and everything, and they could not get it to destroy. So Zach bought it, put it in his museum. That was crazy.
Well, I know, like with the Warrens Museum, they have to have a priest come in there and bless the museum to just keep the spirits and everything contained to their confinement areas. They got them all encased in cases and glass, and he says they bring a priest in like twice a month to bless the museum.
Oh, I bet. I would love to see their museum. I bet it's better than Zach's. Nothing against Zach, but I bet you they'll be better than Zach's.
Oh yeah, they got a lot of stuff in there, and Ed's office is right off the museum.
Oh yeah, they showed that on the movie.
Yep. His office is directly right down the hallway from that museum.
Now, what's the story on the Annabelle? I think I remember it. It's where she got possessed. She got in a car wreck or something.
Well, Annabelle, the first owners, the daughter was
yes, that's what it was. In a car wreck.
Yep, she got killed, and they gave him this Raggedy Ann doll, and they thought their daughter's spirit was in this doll. Well, it wasn't. It was a demonic entity disguising as their daughter. So throughout the line, they got rid of it. Well, this nurse picked it up, brought it home with her and her roommates, and they would do everything with the doll, bring it, set it at the table. From what stories I've heard from Ed, they had it sitting at the table while they were eating breakfast. Annabelle picked up her arms and rested them on the table. So they got rid of her. Like you see in the movie, they did throw her away, and she ended up back. And they were finding little pieces of parchment paper all over the house saying, "I missed you." And they never had parchment paper in that place. So then they called Ed and Lorraine, and then Ed and Lorraine came and got her and took her home.
I got a lot of these dolls, and they're creepy. I have like 10 different types of dolls. Porcelain dolls. I got clowns. I got I don't believe that. I don't believe mine are moving all around and doing crazy things. I do believe that there's things that can be attached to them that can go and move them. But there is one that I have that I know has a little boy attached to it. And it's just your regular donkey Eeyore. And there was a child that the donkey used to belong to, and he's from Tennessee. And his family was in a car accident and everybody passed away, him and his parents. And the grandmother had gotten the child that donkey, and she took it after the funeral and had it wrapped up in this clear plastic. I don't know what it was. It was plastic. You could see him through there. And when I ended up getting him, I connected with him right away. And yeah, and I took him out of the wrap he was in, because he's just a stuffed animal, and he's lighting up K2s. It's like, how are you lighting this up? There's nothing to do to set that off. But he loved that K2s and things like that, and got him out of the plastic bag, and it was like his energy just running wild. And for some reason, he will not move on. He calls me mama. I think he thinks I'm his mama, or I look like her or something.
Right.
But his name's Daniel, and he is 6, and we call him Bobbie. I've captured numerous EVPs on him, and him coming through my spirit boxes all the time. So I do believe that these things can get attached to them, but yeah.
Well, her sign has that one. What's his? He has a doll that has the hair grows. Don't he? At the hero sign. Don't Rick have a doll that has her hair grows?
I don't think you're supposed to talk about that, but we won't go
not?
there. No.
Well, that's news to me. I mean, everybody tells people about it, so.
Yes, there is I guess there is, but yeah. The Mother of the Shrine. It's a Japanese doll, I think. I don't know, something like that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I believe they can. I know Ed's theory on it, that God does not let a child attach to a object.
Yeah.
But
so they're demons acting like a child, right?
Yep. That's what it was with the case of Annabelle.
Well, I hope that's not the case with none of my dolls and the donkey, because it's been with me for probably about 3 years.
She got a bunch of dolls. Ain't no way in heck I am letting all them spirit dolls can stay the far, far away from me. Heck no. Mm-mm. Nope. I'll touch Buddy, but I ain't touching the rest. I don't know if I want to touch him now. He might be a demon. That's what Russell said.
Well, I don't know if that's exactly true. I mean, if you got a child that dies unexpectedly and that was their favorite toy, of course they were happy with that toy. They're going to come back and interact with it, and that may be a way they can communicate.
Yeah. Yep. I believe it. I've actually, I've seen images of him in my mind of what he looks like, and I've heard him running around in my house, and he's jumped on my bed. I mean, it's crazy. I've never owned anything that was so active like that. And I know there's children's spirits in my house, they're probably attached to some of these dolls I have, but he is the most active in this house that I have. But I take him on every investigation. He's like my little trigger object.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might think, well, why would you take something that already is got something attached to it? And how do you know it isn't him doing all the lighting up the balls or whatever?
Right.
Good point, because I don't deny that he's not doing it, because he probably is. It could be either him, or maybe there's another child spirit around, curious to what is this animal? What type of animal is this thing? Depending on the time frame they're from, they might not recognize it, so they might be curious to what it is.
Right. I took some objects out of a house in Oklahoma they were using for demonic worshiping. Goat's head necklace. They had a book on witchcraft on how to sacrifice and kill people. They were using a Buddhist sing bowl for demonic practices.
Yeah, that's what Zach said they were doing in the basement. I guess he got a letter from somebody that lived there years ago before he bought that house, the museum, saying that it was attached to them, and they did rituals in the basement.
Right.
And that's why he started showing the basement to people. And he showed letters and text messages that he got from the people telling him to be careful because the house got something demonic in the basement.
Well,
Yeah.
that's even like Amityville. That's what DeVeo was doing. He had a crawl space in his room where he had a whole demonic thing set up, and that's what possessed him to shoot his parents.
I watched a documentary on that, and they said that was all made up. I don't know how true. I don't know what's true and what's not true on that.
Well, I know George Lutz was messing with some stuff too.
See what?
George Lutz, the second owner, that's the one they made the movie of, and all the books on was the Lutz family.
Mhm.
And I know Ed and Lorraine, they went out there to check out Amityville, and I know they got a picture of a little demon child peeking out of one of the doors.
We all just glitched.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Mandy froze.
Yep.
She's froze. Look at her face.
It looked like she's seen a ghost.
We start talking about all these haunted things in my house, man. It's probably my internet. I mean, did you guys stay on, or was it just me that left?
We were fine. You weren't.
I vanished in thin air. It was
Well, my house is haunted too. I was on a guest on a podcast one night, and my equipment started acting up until I acknowledged the spirits in my house, and then it was fine.
The documentary I watched on that, it actually showed the guy who actually killed all those people. And he said that it's been so long since I've seen it, but I thought he said that the lawyer told him to make that up or something. So I don't know what was true or.
Well, I know they did find his devil worshipping shrine, but I know he was also on drugs and stuff like that too.
Yeah, they used that too. They said he was on drugs.
Because for him to go in a bar and start bragging that he killed his family.
I think these people that are using drugs and things like that, even though they do hallucinate a lot, I believe that they are probably seeing something that we are not here in the physical world, because even though they're not in the right mind, but they are also, when they are in that mindset like that, they are connected. They're actually around the lower negative things that I think know that they have a mental issue or something, and I think they attach to people like that easily, and I think they really do see things. I do.
Yeah, Zach did demolish that house, but he kept the stairs. I was just answering somebody's thing on there. He did demolish it, but he kept the stairs, and he kept a couple other things with it. He kept the dirt in the basement. He kept the basement stairs, and he kept the dirt, but he demolished everything else.
Yeah,
and he put it in, and he locked it up in a little room, and it was pretty wild. So, yeah, but he did demolish it. Yeah, he told a whole story about it.
But yeah, I agree with you on that. When you've got that kind of stuff going on with drugs, it enhances your senses, especially if you got a disability like schizophrenic and mental disorder. You're a perfect target for stuff like that.
They're going to be drawn to you easily. Those lower energies are going to definitely take advantage of someone like that. And I've seen it out there, going to a lot of these residential cases, because working in law enforcement, I've had a lot of people that were locked up that, that don't do drugs no more, have reached out to me that had a lot of bad stuff going on. And I had a case here in Ohio I dealt with, and it was legit. It was some crazy stuff going on at this place. I mean, not only was the family coming through, but there was a poltergeist definitely in this house. I mean, they had doors slamming, and it was insane. It was craziness. And he was someone who was he had done prison time. He was on drugs, and just
Right.
was dealing with all kinds of stuff. And I think that he had a lot of those things follow him from when he was locked up, and then, they're still around him.
Oh yeah, they know with all the stuff he's done, the negative stuff that just feeds it. So
Hmm.
we worked the case with a guy. He's disabled, got a lot of medical stuff going on. Well, he decided he was going to start doing research on witchcraft, several different stuff he was messing around with. Well, he ended up conjuring something up in his house, and he was getting these strange videos. He got a video of one black figure going into his house from the outside. So we got called up there. We went up there and did an investigation. We were running a spirit box, and we got audio from it, something laughing at us, chanting in Latin, mocking church music. Never heard the spirit box do that at all. So I ran another one to see if that one would copy it. The other one was running normal.
Well, we've heard a lot of weird stuff come through our ink box. The OG has some strange things that come through that thing, especially when we go to the Ewer Shrine in Tennessee. I've heard a Japanese woman singing through that box. I've heard chants through that box. I heard what sounded like another language. It could have been Latin coming through that ink box. It's just like, what in the world? Yeah, it's insane.
I sent that audio over to my demonologist friend, Farrah Rose Deal, and she instructed me, she said, destroy that.
Really?
Do not keep that audio. It's bad. Because she can translate Latin because she's Roman Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
And she assists in exorcisms and all that. So she said, get rid of that audio. Do not keep it.
Yeah. Captured some crazy stuff on audio too at weird locations. Yeah. Oh my, Keith. You just take all them dolls to the shrine, and then we'll go from there. We'll investigate them dolls.
Well, that's like Robert's doll, too. KD actually made a REM pod replica of Robert's doll.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, he brings it out at the Paracons that he goes to.
Dang. That's interesting.
Next time I'm at the Paracon, I'll take a picture of it and I'll send it to you over Facebook.
That'd be awesome. 300 of, oh Lordy. Yeah, Teresa had a lot of dolls. She did.
That's a lot.
This is a member from the Ewer Shrine. So we know Keith. Oh no. See, Jenny, you done gone too far. He's got 300, and then you trying to add 300 more to what you already got. No.
Y'all can have those dolls. I'll keep my distance.
I'll just go to Chastity's house when she ain't expecting it, and I'll hide one underneath her pillow.
The hell you will. Mm-hmm.
I'll put the
I'll
clown.
put that out like a freaking light bulb.
I'll put the clown somewhere. It'll be in between you and your.
Oh yeah, he had clown there too. He had the killer clown there.
Okay.
He had all his stuff.
Well, I got the clown from Cooper Hill, so that'd be funny.
He even had the jail cell from that Ted Bundy was in.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's just
And Jeffrey Dahmer.
He's just gone too far. With
Yeah, the bars. He said there were original bars that he was in.
Yeah. No.
He had his hair. Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer's hair. Huh?
I know the museum out here in Carrollton, Missouri, they got the old jail cell that the Meeks brothers were in. They actually murdered a whole family robbed
Gee.
them. They actually killed them, and then they had a little girl that was, I think she was 11. They smashed her head with a rock and thought they killed her, but they knocked her out. So they buried him under hay and dirt. Well, the little girl made her way out, and she made it to a farmhouse where they caught up to the two brothers, locked them up. Well, they both escaped. They caught one brother, they lynched him. The other brother they never caught.
That's crazy.
And then the gypsy, she cursed the whole town of Carrollton. And she's buried in a cemetery outside of town in Carrollton.
Well, somebody needs to uncurse it.
We do an event out there every year for the Chamber of Commerce and the museum out there. We'll go out there, bring the equipment in the museum and stuff like that. They'll give them the history. They do a trolley ride. And several of our equipment was going off. They had an old morgue station set up with the old embalming stuff from the 1800s. And we had cat balls sitting up there, and they were just going nuts. They had a children's coffin there from the 1800s. That was getting some activity off of it.
You know, I've laid in a lot of these old coffins. It's creepy. I've done the Estes method in a coffin at the shrine, even at the the fire museum in Mansfield, Ohio. They had a lot of stuff from the Mansfield prison, and I actually laid in an old coffin like what you're mentioning. And yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's almost like you just seem to get a lot of stuff when you're in those old things like that. It's creepy thinking about it, you know, when you're laying in them, you're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? One day, you know, one day I might be in one of these. Why am I laying in one now? You know, I creep myself out when I do something like that.
So you're like the guinea pig of the group that'll do most things people won't.
Yes, I can't not get the sisters to do a lot of things. Isolations, I try to get them to. They won't always do it.
I do isolations, just boring.
She doesn't do them at all, hardly at all. I usually am the one that'll go. I'm the one that'll usually, against my better judgment, I'll be like, all right, I'll do it.
Because the energy loves her. They stay clear of me.
That's what she says. But
unless they want to mess with my hair, but that's about it.
Right.
Chastity's too intimidating out in the field. She puts off that energy like she's the alpha female or something, you know. So they're just like, ooh, let's stay away from her. Yeah. Then you got me. I'm going in. I'm like, hey, everybody. Hey,
because you can see and hear them. I can't.
I don't. Well, sometimes I see them. I hear them.
So you're the one that gets cussed at then.
Chastity?
Yep.
Chastity's gotten yelled at. I don't know.
No. Mandy's had them call her a slut, but they never called me no slut.
That's because we've had I don't know. We were at a funeral home in Cincinnati. It was the help me out, Jenny, because I know you're on here. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a really active location in Cincinnati, and there is a mean, angry spirit there, and this guy does not like women, and he has let me know, I mean, numerous times. Thank you. It's the Broadwell Funeral Home, and this man is mean, and he's chased me up the stairs before. I've actually got it on a recorder, and Jenny was with me, and Chastity was there that night. We did this investigation, and this spirit is mean. He does not like women. And here we had 4 of us women there, you know, all of the Ghostbusters was there. And this guy was just taunting us, man. He did not want us there. He was mean. And I was just, yeah. He either smacked Jenny. She had like a mark on her face. We don't know what happened, but she never had marks on her when we left. And she woke up with like these weird marks on her. And yeah, I've got the recording. This was insane. You hear this thing, it sounds like it's charging, but there was 2 disembodied voices. And what we were doing was we were wrapping up the night. We just got done investigating, and I was going downstairs while the lights was on in the creepy basement. to get our cameras and my recorder. And I asked Jenny to come with me, and I was going down first. When I got about halfway down, I paused because I heard two different disembodied voices, two men. One was really nice. He's like, "Hey, ladies." The other one was like real angry. He says, "Get out of my house." And next thing I know, you hear this. I don't even know. It was like boom, boom, boom. It was almost like it was banging on something and then like trying to scare us, intimidate us. And it did, because I ran. I mean, I took off, you know. I about ran Jennifer over upstairs. I mean, I wasn't playing around with something like that.
Jenny said the man said I slapped that bitch.
Yes, she had gone back to that location, and it came through, I think, the ink box. Yeah, and it had said that. And this was after she was with us on that investigation. So there is a mean spirit there. And he did call me that. I was like, "No, you did not." I was like, "What the heck?"
I would have cussed his ass back out. Like, F you, mother effer. Where the hell you at right now? Where am I? Go back to hell where you belong.
Well, I don't know. I couldn't do that. I was live, so yeah.
Oh, I'm sure people look at us paranormal investigators when we're cussing back at a ghost like, what the hell are they doing? Right? Look at us like we're crazy.
Well, if he's cussing at us, we can cuss right back.
I was friendly to him. I was really friendly to him, you know. He was angry, and he just one of them angry spirits there. So yeah.
But that would be nice to say that to ladies. Where's your manners?
Oh, he doesn't like
Like
women.
you need to have some respect.
I actually got him on the recorder, the two different disembodied voices, the whole thing that I just told you that went down. I actually have it on the recorder, and I actually made a reel out of it. You can find that reel over on Ghost Sisters, because I told a little bit about it in the beginning, and then I let everybody hear the actual recording of what happened, because it was crazy.
Sounds like the man on the first floor of Waverly Hills Sanatorium. He's the same way. When we were there, we were with another group, and we all decided to go together down on the first floor, sat around the round table, and started doing a spirit box session. Well, we had a guy with us that was a skeptic, and I mean, this spirit didn't hold back. It cussed at women, guys. It didn't care. When it got to the one girl to ask a question, they'd come back on the spirit box. "Shut up, dumb bitch."
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? When you get a direct response like that, you know, and those who are skeptic, well, whatever, you know, why? That's a direct response. You know what I mean?
I dare one of them call me names like that, because they get an earful.
It called me an asshole.
They've flirted with us ladies in the field. I mean, I've had them grab my butt, and literally, this is no joke, because I spent the night alone in a haunted bed and breakfast here in Ohio by myself in the middle of the country, surrounded by woods and cornfields. I had to test my fears as a paranormal investigator. So nobody can ever say that I never done anything like this, because it was insane. And anyway, but this place, they left me completely alone, abandoned out there. And that's what I wanted. And beautiful bed and breakfast. But there was like two big locations on the property. So they had a huge barn that also had rooms. And then they had the actual house itself. And I got to spend the night there alone. I was at the bar inside the house, and I was talking to the spirits, and I was getting some really good stuff. And the man, I felt something grab my butt. I really did. And I was like, "Did you just grab my butt?" And he came through the ink box. He was laughing, and I was live. So, you know, everybody watching heard this. And he started laughing, and he said, "But." And I was like, mm-mm-mm. But when I spent the night there at this location, it just, I got flirted with off and on throughout the night. It was insane. I mean, you had to have seen this live. It was crazy.
Yeah, I've had one of my members. We did a residential case with Raven's Eye, and one of my lead investigator, Jen, she got her butt grabbed that night in that house. She was headed downstairs, and grabbed her butt on the stairs.
Mm-mm-mm. Well, we've had them flirt with us. Chasity, remember that time we were in the speakeasy where Al Capone had actually hung out, and we were sitting at the table there and just talking, and they come through the box and they're like, "I'm not married. I'm not wearing a ring." The spirit was. We're like,
Well, I said something about, is there any hose in here or something? What was it? I said, and they said
that was
back,
at the Villa Bar and Hotel.
what did it say back to me? I can't remember. I know I said something.
She got a direct response from a spirit, and it came over the ink box, I believe, and it was clear. I actually have this on a reel on Ghost Sisters because she mentioned what she just said, and the guy come back through and he said, "Of course I did."
I said, do you have any hose up in here? And he said, of course I did.
Clear as day. I was like, oh man. But you got to think that places like that had a lot of history. This
Right.
Villa Bar in Ohio it's over 120 years old. It has a hotel still connected to it to this day, and it's not used, but it's got a lot of history. So yeah, it's like these spirits are still there, and when you get going in there doing what we do, it's like they want to talk, and it makes you wonder, what is really going on out there in the spirit realm.
Right.
Do they just get to talk? They just talking to each other and they get bored, and then you got people like us coming along and they just got a lot to say.
Well, I'll warn you, if you do Missouri State and you go into Cell House 4, you probably will get grabbed. They
I'm
like to
used to
grab
that.
women in there. The team we went the first time, we went to dinner with them, and my dad told the girl, "You're going to get grabbed tonight." So she was with my two members and me and her boyfriend. So we were in Cell House 4, and I went up in the catwalk because she was watching a shadow darting in and out of the cells. So I went up there to check it out. I started pacing like I was a guard, and I got right above them, and I hear her cuss and say something just grabbed me by the back of the leg.
Mm.
I told her, I said, don't take this offensive. That's where she was a black girl, and that's where they housed the black inmates. And I was like, these inmates haven't seen women in years, so they see women coming in here. It's like fun for them.
Oh yeah. Well, I was at the Blackford County jail in Indiana, and it was just me and one other lady that was investigating, and we were down in the dungeon. Now, we wasn't quite down into the dungeon yet, but we were down in the basement heading over to the dungeon, and I had my vest on, and the ink box was running down there when we were down there, and something kept coming through the ink box saying, "Don't go over there," because we were talking about we're going back to the dungeon, and somebody was trying to warn us. And soon as I stepped over to go into the dungeon, I felt something yank me, kind of like pulled on my vest, and it scared me to death. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, oh my gosh, something just yanked on me. So I felt like it was warning me not to go back there, and it probably was.
Yeah, it's always fun when they grab you like that.
Mhm.
I was helping out a buddy of mine group. They had a residential, so they asked me to come and help. And he says, "Go over there and touch Russell's neck. He likes that." And I do not like my neck touched by a spirit. It drives me nuts when they do that. Well, shortly after that, we're in the barn. He told them in the house to do it. So we're in the barn. Next thing I know, and I thought it was a cobweb. I felt something just brush my neck. Looking around for a cobweb, it was nothing. And then the millimeter in my hand with the REM pod started going off.
I don't mind them, touching and stuff. I mean, as long as they're not being aggressive, I'm good with it. I'm okay. You can
They
touch
ain't
my
touching
neck.
me.
You can. I've had them pull on my hoodie, whatever. As
Mhm.
long as
I
they
always tell them, touch me and
me,
leave me alone.
as long as they don't, smack you or push me, intentionally, I'm good with it. You can, whatever,
Right.
but just don't get aggressive with me, and we'll be all right.
Yeah, I've been hit. I've been scratched. the case we did in Oklahoma, I got scratched. Our camera was pulsating in the hallway, so we were watching it, and this black figure appeared in it, probably about 6 foot tall. So I thought maybe it's just camera's acting up, it's glitching. So I walked back there. Sure enough, I'm face to face with this figure standing in the hallway. Well, it comes running straight at me, drops down to about 5 foot, disappears at my legs, and then 3 scratches on my bicep.
Hmm.
And that was the
Well,
same house they were doing that demonic worshiping in.
okay, I was gonna say, because I sometimes I don't, if I get scratched, I don't look at it as something demonic, unless I'm in an area where they were doing them bad things and really conjuring up them things. Other than that, if I get scratched, I'm just like, well, maybe it's trying to get my attention. It just depends where you're at. Maybe that was something negative that got you because what you just said they were doing there.
Yeah, and that's what they were doing, and he had two little boys in that house, and that's why we got called in, because for us, kids are first priority for residential.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So
Yes, you can, Steve.
we'll drop everything to go help kids in need for that.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it was only two of us. The rest of my team had to work, so it was an emergency. So my dad and I went out. So I was kind of investigating solo, but I'm in camera view at all times, so he's watching the cameras. So
Mm.
it was crazy. It hurt too. I mean, right here on this part of my arm, I still got the scars from it.
Well, this is crazy. I've been scratched quite a few times, but the weird thing is, one time I was holding one of my dolls, I have a really tall one, and I was showing her on the podcast I was on, and I don't think she liked me holding her. Whatever, she didn't like it, and I did wake up with I had like little claws on me, and I was just like, what the heck? I was trying to think, what I don't have a cat. Now I got big dogs. I got St. Bernards. I would know if one of them,
Yep.
scratched would be a big mark. But this was just little marks. And I've had that happen. And after I've come back from investigating an asylum in our hometown, I've actually woke up with marks on me. And I'm like, what the, where's this coming from? But I never assumed that it was anything demonic or anything. I just thought maybe I made something mad.
Right.
or it wanted to get my attention. But I have had that happen to me. But nothing like deep or anything like that.
Mine were pretty deep, and mainly your demonic. Usually the scratches in threes. If you're getting them in fours, anything more than that, it's a regular spirit, and either aggravated it or it's its way to communicate. That's all it has enough energy to do.
Yeah.
But with that case, with him playing with all that demonic stuff, and then his daughter's playing with some dark stuff in there,
Yeah.
and we cleansed the house. The guy wouldn't do a cleansing, so he ended up reverting back to his old ways, and he tried to kill his girlfriend shortly after we investigated there.
Jeez.
And that whole property too is seeing a share of violence. It's on the Trail of Tears, so a lot of the Native Americans were murdered there, and there was two girls that went missing in the 90s that they never found. They believe that they're buried on that property in the woods somewhere. But we've even the movie theater we do, like my dad's been pushed. Something tried to push him over a rail, and he had finger marks on his arms and his back where it tried to push him over the rail.
Mm-mm.
And that movie theater has actually been on the episode of Dead Files, season 5, episode 11, called The Madhouse.
I just wonder if Dead Files, if some of that just seems like
Chastity's TV stuff. I mean, what do you? They gotta, TV stuff sometimes.
But
Well,
it makes me wonder if she really see those demons like she says, or are they making that part up?
I can actually prove that Amy Allen is a legit medium. We did capture physical evidence of everything she picked up in that movie theater.
Because she shows like demons crawling and weird looking demons and stuff and drawings. I'm thinking,
Because I had a member that used to investigate with us get partially possessed in there, and her face morphed to Amy Allen's drawing of the guy that she picked up on in that movie theater.
I like her. I like Amy.
And the growl that they captured when they did Dead Files Revisited, we captured the same growl on EVP.
I always wondered if that was legit. It just seemed like that would be little.
Yeah, it's legit. I've checked out the history that Steve has, and all the history is true about Ming and all that. I've talked to a lot of the locals in town about it, because we actually investigated a restaurant directly up the road from there too that's haunted.
Where are you located?
I'm in Breckenridge, Missouri, which is north central Missouri, and we're about an hour from Casey. So we do, but we don't stay in Missouri. We travel all over. I mean, we've done stuff out in your neck of the woods in Ohio. We've done a residential out there. We got to go do another case out there soon.
See, I don't. We travel all over the states too, doing investigations. But when it comes to the residentials, I'm staying in Ohio, and I'm only going to go like an hour and a half from where we're located.
Right.
And but we did do one in Kentucky because we knew the lady, so she used to date our cousin. So we went and checked out her family's location in Kentucky. That was the only one I ever traveled for outside of where we are located. I don't. Yeah.
We travel all over. We've done stuff in Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Illinois, Ohio, Kentucky.
Now we'll travel for the, the paid locations, or if we're getting free or whatever,
Right.
But the residentials, I just keep it close.
Steve had asked, "Do you remember Mark and Debbie Constantino murders?"
No.
They were on Ghost Adventures quite a bit. The Constantinos. They were the EVP specialists.
Sounds familiar.
And both of them, Mark and Debbie, were both murdered. This happened, I want to say, in the early 2000s, I believe. But yeah, they were a team of EVP specialists. They could pick out EVPs out of audio like crazy. That's who Zach used to use for their EVP work quite a bit.
I don't even watch his show. I just went to his museum.
I'll watch him.
I don't watch. I used to watch Ghost Adventures when they first came out. I lost interest in it when it started getting too dramatic. With them, I lost interest in it.
I look past all the dramatic, and I love the locations they're getting into. It's like, oh man, they get into some cool places, islands, and
Yeah.
and I'm like, dang.
Now I watch Nick Groff. I'll watch Deathwalker. I've watched Paranormal Lockdown one day.
I don't watch none of them.
Watched KD's show, Ghost of Devil's Perch, that he was on.
Yeah, I've watched that one.
I watch scary movies sometimes.
Yeah, Jennifer's right. Zach keeps going to the dark side more now.
Yep.
I think his problem is he let the fame get to his head a little bit.
Most people do.
And that's why a lot of people deter from watching Zach and dealing with him.
He's well liked, that's for sure. And he's a millionaire.
So Mark killed her and killed himself. So Mark Constantino killed his wife and then killed himself. But they were paranormal investigators too, so that's what I'm wondering, if maybe they got into something dark.
So I tell Mandy she needs to be careful out there. She inviting things in that she shouldn't be inviting in.
I don't go chasing the dark stuff. It doesn't. I've only had one. Well, whenever I'm with Sean Austin, he's constantly got that stuff around him. So that's the only time I had something follow me from the Ura Shrine, and it was bad. That was the only time. Other than that, I don't. When we're out there investigating, Chasity, I don't go. We ain't out
You're
there.
like, you can have my energy. You can have my energy. I'm like, you ain't touching my energy. Keep away.
Yeah, that's an invite, and
That's an invite.
I'm a medium. I connect with them, so I do readings all the time.
Well, they connect with you right at home in your bed while you and your hubby sleeping. Be crawling in bed with your ass.
They already have done that before. What do you mean?
Oh, no. You can stay away from me.
But I feel like I'm going to knock on some wood, because I do feel like I've been lucky and blessed at the same time that I don't have that problem, because I'm not out. That's not what I'm out there to communicate.
Because you ain't out looking for it, don't mean it ain't gonna show up.
It's intimidated by me. I got my cross. Maybe that's why they just maybe they're just like.
I know a girl that used to investigate, her and her husband, for I think 5 years. And they went and investigated a home, and she said that something followed her home, and it was an animal with big red eyes on her head, and it stuck to her, and it freaked her out. And they started going to church, and they quit investigating. She said, "You don't know what's attaching to you." I guess some bunch of bad stuff was happening, and yeah.
But you can go anywhere and things can attach to you. You can step outside and get in your car and go down to the store. Something.
But if you're out there looking for it, it increases your odds.
Them things don't just stay in one location; they travel. And then people that have attachments, and if you could be standing next to somebody who's got some stuff attached to them, you don't know, and you don't know if they just
got out there looking for it. You're increasing the odds more.
Well, I worked in law enforcement, so I was surrounded by those things. So there wasn't. I had no choice. It was really bad.
yeah, I mean, when we go out, we got a chance all the time of bringing something home with us.
Yeah, it's true. They do travel. They don't just. My opinion, they don't just stay in one location. They're not. They're traveling. Some people say they go back to where they were. I don't know. Personally, I don't know. I mean, who knows? Nobody really knows. But I honestly think they go where they want.
That's like my very first ever demonic case. We dealt with a lady that was actually possessed. We actually literally watched an upside down cross get scratched in the side of her neck while we're standing there holding her hand. So it wasn't self-inflicted, and her eyes rolled in the back of her head.
Oh, God. What kind of places you going to? Oh, my gosh.
That'd be enough to scare the shit out of me. I wouldn't be going none. I would be done investigating. If I seen that, I'd be like, I ain't messing with you, devil. I'm going over here on the white side.
We stuck in there. We didn't give up on her.
Yeah.
We were able to help her. It took
That's
about
good.
6 months, but we were able to help her. Did a lot of cleansings. Kept going back, cleansing the house.
Oh, so you're a demonologist?
I'm not a registered demonologist, but I'm mentored by a demonologist that is registered with.
Oh, well, that's good. At least you do that.
Well, see, there's one thing I'm learning about you demonologists, that you all be bringing out the dark stuff, because I'm telling you, because Sean is a demonologist, and I've been on numerous investigations with him, and I've been to a lot of locations I bring him on, and I've never gotten the stuff that he gets, and we have the same recorder. And I'm like, dude, I've been here 5 times already, never had anything like this. You come here, and now all this crazy stuff's coming through the recorders. Right. They're talking really bad. They're going to do this to me. They're mentioning an incubus, and I'm like, what is going on? Right. And he's seeing things with red eyes. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, like Julie says, they come out for us. That's Julie from Raven's Eye Paranormal that we work with.
I don't want them coming out for me like that. No. I mean, if it now, am I going to say we haven't heard growls when we're investigating? Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. We've had the mean spirits come out? Yes. The negative spirits? Yes. But I mean, there's just so much out there. You can say this is this, that's that, but whatever it was, he was definitely bringing out I wouldn't say demonic, I'm not going there, but negative thing. And this was something that was like, it knew that it was going to freak me out when it started doing that. And yeah, and it did.
Yeah, another one we dealt with, I actually got thrown into a door because it was after my medium of the group, so I was in its way. It was trying to push me down the basement stairs, but I'm too smart for that. I don't stand near anything where it can push me anywhere. So it decided, I'm going to slam you into a door.
See, I don't have all that going on. I've had a lot of crazy experiences with these spirits. I've had supernatural things that I cannot explain and nobody would ever believe unless they had it happen to them. And this is before I was ever a paranormal investigator. I've had a lot of things, but I feel like I'm really protected out there. You know, I feel like I am. Not saying that nothing couldn't happen, because it could, but I really feel like I got somebody watching over me. Because like I said, the only time I've ever had anything bad happen was something followed me from the shrine, and it was not good. And it was here at my house for a whole week. It was crawling in my bed, waking me up, growling at me. I mean, it was pure torture for a week. And we were doing podcasting, Chasity. Remember, we jumped on this podcast, and the people that was on the radio listening to us was complaining they were hearing growls. And we had just got back from the shrine, and all this was going on. And we hadn't been back from the shrine a week. And it was insane. But it got so bad in my house. I was terrified. I was sleeping with the lights on. I was telling my husband. I was like,
how'd you get rid of him? Did you send him back to Rick?
It took a lot of work, because from what I understand, I was always told nothing can leave the shrine. But I'm telling you, something followed me. And so all week I'm just going to tell you, it was all bad. I hit an animal on the way to work. I've been going to work for 8 years, taking the same path, hit something. My car was practically brand new at the time, ruined my bumper. I had all this negativity in my house. It was bad. It was crazy. Growling, bad. That's all I got to say. It was horrible. Nightmares I was having. I was seeing this, I had a nightmare, this snake man. I seen the snake man in my dream. Oh, this thing, I'm telling you, it was a snake man. He opened up his mouth and all these snakes just flew out at me. It was crazy. So the one lady that we were doing the podcast with, the radio podcast, she had her aunt contact me. And I sent her pictures of, my areas of my house. And she told me that I needed to take a lemon, cut it into 4s, and place it in every spot in the house where I felt the negativity. And I did, because that lemon would absorb the negativity. And I'm telling you, that lemon, within, I don't even know how long it took. It was like hours, it seemed like. And that thing turned like almost black. So I had to get sage. I saged my house. I got so mad at this thing because it was taunting me. I had to sage like 2-3 times in a week to get it to go. And it must have finally left me alone. But after it tortured me for about 7 days. Yeah.
Right. Sometimes you can be forceful with your words too, and they'll leave.
I did. I said, that's it. I said, you got to go. I was like, because because it was just growling in my ears. It really was. Or it was horrifying to be in bed and you feel this thing next to you. And my husband worked second shift, so he'd stay up all night and I worked first. And this thing was just taunting me. I couldn't handle it no more.
Yeah, I've had one do that about 3 o'clock in the morning. Took one of my dog's toys and threw it at my bedroom door. And I got up, and my dad woke up, and he was like, "What was that?" I said, "Something just hit my door."
Mhm.
And my dad had been picking up on something in the house. I was like, "You followed me from somewhere, wherever you came from, you better go back there because I'm gonna cleanse this whole house out,
Yeah.
and you will be gone." Didn't hear a peep
Mhm.
out of it after that.
Yeah. You have to lower the energies, you know? I didn't know what else to do. So I did what I could do. My husband's like, "Are you burning sage?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." And because he works in law enforcement, so he's bringing home, God only
Right.
knows what's following him. So just all this different energies in this house, and then me going to a place that they do these things at, and they do rituals every day, and this stuff is like every day there, and this thing just decided it was going to hitch a ride over here. So I don't know if
Yeah,
it went back, but
I know that feeling. I'm an electrician, so I'm going to different people's houses
yeah.
constantly. So you never know what you're gonna walk out with. It's like, "Hey, I
Mhm.
like him. I'm gonna go with him."
Yeah. Yeah.
We went to one house to do a job, and you could feel the energy in there. You could feel there was something in there just watching us while we're working.
Hmm.
And I said to the guy I was working with, I was like, "They got ghosts in this house. There's something watching us."
Well,
Like,
there's
how do you know? I'm like, "This is what I do."
yeah, you get out there, you know.
Investigator.
Yeah,
Does anyone have stories of cryptids?
I do, but you probably wouldn't believe me. But we'll have to save that for another time.
Yeah, we got about 20 minutes left, so if anybody else has any questions, feel free to throw them up in the chat. But yeah, I don't do cryptids, and I was supposed to go out on a Bigfoot investigation with Carter Bashart, our local Bigfoot guy here. He was on one of the consultants for the show Finding Bigfoot. He's supposed to take us down to the Mark Twain National Forest because there's a cemetery out in the middle of the forest that's haunted. And he swore there was a big cross, that concrete cross that was laying on the ground. And when he was there, he went back. And the only way to stand this up is a crane, and you can't get a crane out there in the middle of that forest. Something had stood it back up, and he swears it's a Bigfoot that did it.
Mm-mm-mm. Well, I might have had something like that follow me here. I don't know. I've had weird things out here. So,
I mean, we've dealt with an elemental, a draconian starseed, which is kind of like a reptilian looking thing.
dang.
Yeah, it was somebody's house. The stepdaughter had brought it in to do harm on her stepmom. So they made it sound like it was something demonic. Well, the younger sister she saw it, she drew it, grabbing her older sister. And when we were down there in the room where supposedly this was going on, the little girl got scared and ran upstairs. So we went up to check on her. She had shown us the picture. She saw it.
Mm.
Well, that night, Julie channeled into it. So we were still thinking it was something demonic, what the homeowner told us. So I started using religious provocation at it, and it laughed at me and says, "You're a funny little prick, aren't you?" And says, I'm older than God. I was here before God. I'm part of the earth.
Oh, wow.
And she also picked up on a man that had been killed in a car accident. He thought that was his family. So the Draconian actually stepped aside to let that man leave when we crossed him over. Julie crossed him over, and that Draconian stepped aside. Well, we were doing an Estes method out on the couch, and you can hear several growls during the audio. We were filming it, and you can hear several knocks, and you'll see Julie and I react to it because we're hearing it. And we got the name Azar, which is something demonic, out of there, but it was more that Draconian was doing the havoc than anything.
Well, the shrine, Chastity, do you remember when we were filming there with Paranormal Reality TV? What was that came over the ink box? It said, what did it say? Something crazy. I don't know. I can't remember what it was, but we actually ended up getting an EVP in this cave there at this location that I'm talking about. Do you remember when you and Bobbie Jo was there, Chastity? We were in the cave and we were recording, and I captured, it sounded like something was just like making all this weird breathing noises. And then it said, I am the gatekeeper. That was crazy. I mean, I don't know if what that was supposed to mean, who is the gatekeeper, but it was, and I've actually had a dream, because remember I was telling you at this location, the ink box would have it sounded like Latin or some different form of language coming through this ink box at this location. And that same night that we captured that EVP, we always spend the night at this location, and I was sleeping and I had a dream that night. This guy came to me and he was talking to me in Latin. I know I've never heard this before. I couldn't understand a word he was saying, but that's all I kept hearing was the talking. I thought it was like he was right there, but I was dreaming. But I mean, he was going on and on and on and on. And I don't know if you remember me waking up telling you guys about that, Chastity, but that happened.
I don't remember.
You don't remember nothing. But yeah, it's
You've
just
been there
crazy.
so many times. Heck, I might not even been there at that time.
No, you were there at that time, me, you, and Bobbie Jo. But what do you think, as a demonologist? What would you say? Why would I be having this thing come to me like that?
It had a message for you. Plus, with you being
But I
there,
couldn't speak, but I couldn't understand.
interacting with it, you were interacting with something there. So it's kind of like you invited it. So it's like, hey, he's willing to talk to me. So maybe I'll come visit her. And it doesn't know you don't understand Latin.
So nothing's followed you back from doing any of that stuff?
Not me. We cleanse ourselves pretty heavily before we leave. We cleanse the equipment, the cars.
I've done all that. That don't want
But we're also wearing, we wear a lot of blessed stuff too, like blessed St. Benedict's medals, crosses. So we stay pretty heavily protected. Even when we do paracons, we're wearing our protection in there because there's so many different energies floating around, people doing readings. And
Man, I would be scared. I couldn't do that job.
I could do it, but I just
You see the demon coming out of its head and bending over. Oh, you would be out. I'm just trying to figure out how can they bend their back like that.
It does happen. I've talked to Farrah when she's assisted on exorcisms, and she says the bones cracking and stuff like that. That's a real thing. It really does happen.
And turning their neck around.
Yep, and then the blood coming out of their eyes.
How
And
can they live through that? That should kill them instantly.
it don't. I mean, some can
Don't
handle it.
make sense.
Like Emily Rose, look how she got severely dehydrated, and that's what killed her from that exorcism.
Oh yeah, they said she was 61 pounds.
Yep.
21, what was she, 19 or 21 pounds? At Zach's thing, he actually played her getting exorcism.
Yep.
I can't believe they sued her parents and then got in trouble for her dying.
And that's like the diocese office. They have to register every exorcism that goes on in any state.
Yeah, that was crazy. I watched that movie a few times, and they never did say where she caught it from. They just showed her getting it at the dorm at the college.
Well, that just goes to tell you that you can pick these things up anywhere. You don't have to be out there where people are conjuring them up. A college, you just said it.
Right.
Well, you can even pick them up out of Ouija boards, too.
I played Ouija boards.
You can open a door there and let something in.
Now, when I was younger, I used to mess with them, but nothing ever happened.
Some people it does, some people it don't. I mean, some people that don't have no recollection don't know how to close them out.
Yeah, you got to know how to close them. It's so simple, you know.
Especially when you're a kid and you're playing with it and your mom and dad come in. What the heck are you doing? They grab it. You've already opened that door stays open.
Oh, Teresa Caputo won't even go into the same room that a witchy board's in. She won't even go.
But here's my thing. As a medium, when we're channeling, I give people readings all over the states. I'm channeling with these spirits. And when I'm out there investigating, sometimes I'm channeling with them. What's the difference? To me, you're still using yourself regardless. When I do spirit writing, it's the same thing as like playing the Ouija board. I'm opening me up to be a condolent channel for them. So I don't understand. It's all the same to me.
Same with the spirit box. It's just like spirit box, same way. You're communicating, you're inviting. Just like with a Ouija board, you're inviting.
Yeah, mediums.
Yeah,
and
they say that girl, that Emily Rose, is still attached to that. Her ashes are still attached. Like she's still, if I remember it right, there's still she is still attached to the demon. The demon is her soul is attached to the demon somehow still. If I remember it right, they were saying that her soul is still, which is sad. I mean, how can they not? They've done numerous exorcism on them and never could get rid of it. I don't understand how they couldn't.
Some of them are hard. They're hard to get rid of. The stronger the demon, the harder it is to get rid of. Once it's latched in, takes control, you have a hard time getting rid of it. That's like that case Ed and Lorraine assisted on that exorcism of Frenchie. Which you've seen Frenchie, you've seen the nun, the guy at the end of the nun that got possessed. They'll show the video of them doing the exorcism in the Conjuring movie when the actors are on stage in the college talking. That really did happen, that exorcism. He did really tear blood. Frenchie ended up dying. He ended up killing himself.
Well,
and it was bad. I mean, even on his stomach, the upside down crosses were appearing in it. Chris McKinnell, their grandson, assisted on that exorcism too. He was helping the bishop with it.
Yeah.
Ed and Lorraine were both there.
Yeah, I think they said, if I remember it right, they said that the parents or somebody that had her box, her ashes or something, said that they were being tormented or like something was still attached to that box. So that's what they gave them to Zach.
Well,
you figure you burn, you get rid of the body, you're not getting rid of what is attached to it. That's the same with like your dolls. You burn that vessel, you're not getting rid of what's attached to it. It's always going to remain there.
I just feel bad for that girl, that poor little girl. Hopefully she went to heaven and not stuck in that, her soul,
Yeah.
like stuck in hell with that
Well,
guy.
we have a case here in Ohio, which I haven't told my sisters about because they will not be attending this one. It is a residential case that is bad. It's like what y'all talking about. That this is going to be bad, and I have had to call in my friend Sean, the demonologist. He's going to have to come, and this is involving two houses. I don't want to talk about too much because we have a lot going on with it right now, but there's going to be a lot of this exorcisms done on the house, and possibly, I don't want to say too much, but this is some dark stuff. This is bad. And I this is my first case in Ohio that I've ever come across that was a true serious case that has the dark stuff going on. And I don't want to say what was going on because there's just a lot with it. It's so bad.
Yeah,
and I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous going in because,
You can have that case. I'll sit back here and watch.
You're going to sit back and watch because this is a serious case.
I'll keep my distance.
the best advice I can tell you: do not go in showing it fear. That's
yeah.
They live off fear, right?
Yeah,
Make
I'm
sure
not going to go in showing fear.
Make sure you ground yourself. You get yourself blessed before you go to that.
Well, I already told Sean. I said you're going to have to sprinkle some holy water on me or something walking up in here.
Make sure you're
because,
very protected.
well, this is crazy.
You're an easy target for it.
So twice, and this was 6 months ago.
And that's probably why you're having these dreams about being spirits telling you they're worried about you, and your daughter having those dreams saying that they're worried about you. So that could be why, right there.
Those are warning signs.
Yeah, I know. I know. But this lady reached out to me 6 months ago, and it's not that I didn't take the case serious. It's just I need proof. I got to have these things. Because they know people know we go live, and they want us to come. And it's like, look, this sounded serious, and it's not that it wasn't. And I told her I would come and check it out. I said, look, I'll come and do a walkthrough, see what I pick up on. I said, this sounds like stuff out of a movie. This is insane what I'm hearing, and I just needed proof. Twice I was on my way there, and twice I was stopped. It was like my spirit team, something happened. It was just like I couldn't get to her, or she was telling me something was going on, and it's like they weren't letting me get to her twice. So 6 months later, so 6 months later, this guy reaches out to me, and he's like, hey, my friend's going through this and that. And I'm like, my intuition told me, I was like, this sounds familiar. I said, have her call me. And sure enough, it was the lady from 6 months ago, and there was more stuff. And I was like, oh my, I just was overwhelmed. And I said, I need a demonologist. I said, I don't know what to do, So I reached out to
that's good. You're bringing a demonologist in. That way it'll help protect you as well.
Yeah. Because you better believe, because this is probably going to be a 2-3 night investigation at this location. It's bad. There's 2 houses here involved. This is bad.
And Marion?
Nope. This is not in Marion, but it's like an hour from Marion.
And if it's strong, it's gonna fight you.
Oh, I know, and that's why I gotta have Sean there.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. I was already picking up things.
Like us, we're strong enough now. I've been mentored enough by Farrah to handle it. But if it gets too crazy, I usually just call her, and she takes it from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'll let him. I'm going to be right there, But I know that I'll be. I feel like for me to help her, it was like they didn't want me to go alone. I had to wait. The timing was not right. The timing was off. So this is the time, because it just feels like it's the time, and I think it is. I think this is it. So.
And they'll do that. I've had clients call me for cases, and it's something dark, and the phone will hang up on me because they know what that client's doing. They know we're going to come there and we're going to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like it was either whatever going on over here, these locations didn't want me there, but yet then I felt like it was my spirit guides blocking me from going over there. So I took it either way, because it didn't happen. Didn't happen, and now it's going to happen. So
Yeah, it's like what Tim said. Shattering is telling you ahead of time what you're about to embark on.
yeah,
Basically, your spirit guide's warning you not to go there by yourself.
yeah, I've had 2 warnings. Yeah,
Too strong for you to handle by yourself.
and that's why I'm going to have my buddy with me. So I'm not going there alone. There's no way, and it's that bad. So this is like some TV stuff. It's crazy.
Like you said, heeded warning.
Yep.
Well, that's like we were going to do the 7 Gates of Hell in York, Pennsylvania, and we were talking about it. Gonna go. We all started having strange dreams of it. We decided, nope, that's just a warning sign we're going to get hurt out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard of that urban legend, 7 Gates
I
of
think
Hell.
I have. I think I have.
The old asylum that sat back in the woods, you had to pass 7 gates to get to it.
Dang.
And the asylum had burnt, and it killed a lot of the patients. The ones that did escape got shot and killed. Guard went crazy there and killed his whole family with an axe. A woman next to the property hung herself in her own house. So when we were talking about going there, I ended up having a dream of the guy that killed his family. He wanted to talk to me because I was the leader of the group. And our medium at the time was like, no, we're not going. He started having nightmares, night terrors of it.
Yeah.
And apparently there was a guy that actually made it up to where the asylum stood. And when you hit the 5th gate is when all the crazy, darker, paranormal stuff starts happening. And he made it up to the 7th, and he ended up getting locked in a mental institution.
What, Jenny? Do you read that comment?
Did you guys hear that noise that just came through? Either a car or a growl. I have headphone piece in.
That came from Chastity's house.
Not came from your house.
You just got back from Zach's. It definitely came back from your house.
No.
Yeah. Now, is she not saying she was just in one of the most darkest museums?
Yep.
I wasn't alone. I was with a group of people.
That don't matter. Don't think something can't follow you back just because you were on a
It didn't
plane.
follow me back. I ain't had no problems at all.
They lay low for a while.
Well, we just hit our 10 o'clock hour. How can people get a hold of you guys if they want to book you for investigations, paracons?
If they are interested in getting a hold of us, you can send us a message on Ghost Sisters on Facebook. We're also on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, but we usually go live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, or not Twitter, TikTok, if you're interested in watching what we do when we're out there. So.
Awesome. I thank you both for coming on the show, and it's been a good show, fun show.
Oh, can I say one more thing I forgot?
Sure can.
If you want to book a personal mediumship reading, or if you're interested in a Reiki session, you can contact me on Facebook, Intuitive Medium Mandy.
All right. If you guys want to hang backstage real quick, I'm going to play the outro. And thanks, everyone, for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you all again next week.